I heard. So is Hi-Fi just gone?
Yeah, it's done.
Yep,
it's vanished.
Yeah. Damn. What took its place?
Nothing. It's going to be Big Black Brewing in the summer.
Oh.
I will probably not frequent it because it just hits too close to home. A little bit.
Yeah, sure.
Also, John and I took off March of drinking, but I cheated and he cheated, so maybe I'm going to take off April of drinking instead.
There you go.
Just to reset it properly.
I'm fine. I'm happy with the result, which was that throughout the course of the month of March, I drank significantly less.
That's true.
Which is good, and I lost 5 pounds.
That's a good goal to have. There you go. Look at that.
Go figure, if you reduce your beer intake from daily to occasional.
Maybe these empty calories that are doing absolutely nothing fucking for me should not be consumed. Turns out I lose weight.
Goddamn.
I mean, there have been more than a couple times where it's like I would get home from work and like I don't feel like making dinner or doing anything like that.
We're just gonna have a beer.
I'll have a beer, watch YouTube, and go to sleep.
That's a strategy.
I mean, I suppose.
I will not employ.
I'm okay with that.
This is me like just worn out at the end of the day.
Oh yeah, no,
like,
I get
that is what it is.
Okay, as long as it's not like a 3 p.m. conscious decision where you're just like, I'm not gonna have dinner. Instead, I'm gonna have a beer.
No.
Singular, just one really heavy meal of a beer.
To be completely clear, this is me like getting home at like 8 p.m.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't feel like doing anything.
Stout that is literally oil. Not even pours like oil, just literal
just
oil.
Actual oil.
You can get nutrients out of that, right? If I just drink from the gas pump.
Yeah, no, we're all machines.
That's
so it's
fine. Yeah, no.
I mean, you could have like oil derived from whale blubber or something like that. Something,
What are we in the Dishonored universe?
Yeah.
Everything is fueled by whales. Our economy, only whales. It's a nice combination of Japan and Dishonored.
Oh nope! Well, I'm not gonna say that.
That's
not bad. I was gonna splice the 2 words together.
No.
Whoops.
Wait a minute.
I caught it. I caught it.
Good call.
All right.
Welcome back to the show, everybody.
Hey, yeah, welcome back.
Christ.
3 months later.
We don't talk about that.
All right.
Ready?
Yeah.
I'm good.
All right.
Damn it, Ben.
Still ready.
Not fair.
3,
2,
1.
Hi, I'm John.
I'm Andrew.
I'm Ben.
I was legitimately about to say I'm Ben.
I'm always last in this conversation.
No, I know. Just that is how rewired my brain has been since the last time we did an episode where I'm like, I'm Ben, right? That's how this goes. I'm the third part of this.
Meanwhile, I retain I'm always John.
I never fucked up my name before.
Forever John.
Oh. Forever a John.
Forever a John.
Your spelling changes depending on who you're talking to.
I mean, that's fair.
I mean, depending. Some people.
Jon, right?
Huh?
It's Jon.
Oh, yeah. But sometimes it's Jonathan instead.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. So you
yeah.
Jonathan. There.
Yeah, and for the very few, it's Johnny or John. But no.
Yeah,
what about Bon Johnny?
Bon Johnny.
Bon Johnny.
Like, are you doing like a Bon Jovi?
Yeah, I was thinking that was where the gag
Look, it was bottom of the barrel. Like
Ben was really.
I mean,
digging.
kudos to you for like doing Bon Jovi. No one's ever done a Bon Jovi riff on my name.
Look, I wanted to set the bar low because it's been a bit.
No, I'd say that's
just want to make the audience understand where our brains are at comedy wise.
If you have fun nicknames for me, you can send them to john@gggames.org.
We're sticking with the good jokes.
I have what you have Twitter, right? We have Twitter.
Yeah, we have Twitter.
Do we have Twitter?
We have Twitter. I have Twitter now personally, and it's like, God, fuck, why do I have Twitter?
There you go.
How'd this happen?
Why did I do this to myself?
One day I woke up and I'm an egg.
Oh man. I woke up and suddenly I was more angry at U.S. politics than normal. This is so strange. I don't know what I'm yelling about anymore.
I will say, 2017 has brought us the anger alarm, and
I'm so sorry you're mad about this one very minor section of the liberal sphere. Can we now just start stabbing the right people again? Can we start being mad at, like, you know, all of politics rather than at each other for really dumb reasons? America.
I mean, it's always there. I mean, it's always simmering.
It's just a permanently simmering pot of just anger.
I was taught that America was a melting pot of cultures. And I didn't realize that fucking thing would overflow at one point.
I didn't realize it would boil.
It's some scalded pot, like gravy in the back burner.
I was really thinking like fondue, just like cheese just pouring out of a pot.
People, please remember to clean out your fondue pot as soon as you're done using it.
It gets gross.
Yes.
Now transition that shit to what we're talking about.
Quick, cheese. I'm pretty sure there's probably
this
a Mortal
movie is
Kombat
super
fatality.
Fucking cheesy.
I was going to say that. I'm pretty sure there's a Mortal Kombat fatality that involves cheese.
There's got to be one. There's skin dissolving and things like that.
Oh yeah, there you go. Boiling. Perfect.
Oh,
problem solved.
3 out of 10.
Yeah, we're trying.
I'm gonna throw in some submerged in boiling flesh right here. There we go.
Oh yeah, the pit in the pit stage. Perfect. Punch a guy into boiling acid.
That's number 2 though.
We're here talking about Mortal Kombat, not the game necessarily, because the games they're varying degrees of enjoyable and not enjoyable.
Yeah, don't play the 3D ones, ladies and gentlemen. Friends don't let friends play the 3D Mortal Kombat games.
We are here specifically to talk about the 1995 summer blockbuster hit Mortal Kombat.
Oh my god, 95.
This is where you would put in the Mortal Kombat music.
Mortal Kombat!
But we don't have rights to it, and I'm pretty sure if you say more than 5 seconds, we're gonna
That was the second, though. We have 4 more.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're going to get a some form of strike.
Splice Mortal Kombat 1 second at a time just throughout the podcast.
Oh, so it's not
you and I are on the exact same. You and I are on the exact
So it's
same
not contiguous, just like 1 second and 5 minutes and 1 second. Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. Is it hiccups or is it the theme song?
It's actually just Ben just
cool. Karaoke, got it.
just Ben attempting to sing with water in his mouth.
So of our 10 listeners, the one that doesn't know what Mortal Kombat is, who are you?
Why are you here? Please leave.
No, please stay. That's 10% of our audience.
For background information, for those of you who don't know, Mortal Kombat is a 1992 video game produced by Midway.
92? Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
And in fact, first one came out in 92, second one came out in 93, and the third one came out in 95.
So this was aligned with Mortal Kombat 3.
Yeah.
Got it.
So the original idea was Ed Boon, who is the lead developer at Midway, and John Tobias, who is one of the lead graphics programmers. And back then, it was much more like, I do graphics.
Yeah, you were the graphics.
I am the graphics.
Right.
They wanted to do a Jean-Claude...
team of 50 people.
They wanted to do a Jean-Claude Van Damme game based off of Universal Soldier, initially.
Oh, God. Wow, right.
And they couldn't get the Universal Soldier rights, but they did have the rights for Bloodsport for a while. So they started working on an idea for a game that was going to be a Jean-Claude Van Damme game that took inspiration from Bloodsport, but then they lost the rights to that. So what they ended up doing was they decided, you know what, we have a love for like Bloodsport and supernatural kung fu films. So we're just going to play off of that concept and build this whole game around this story that's like a blend of Bloodsport, Enter the Dragon, Big Trouble in Little China, kung fu films in general, Chinese mythology, and Shaolin monks. They just decided to make a big old melting pot of that.
The amount of panic I would feel as a developer if I lost my fucking IP that I was
lost
working
your IP
on.
twice in a row.
I'd be like, are you kidding me?
Also, I'm pretty sure isn't that how Johnny Cage happened? Wasn't it supposed to be the
Exactly.
Jean-Claude Van Damme character?
That was
the game Johnny Cage.
The reason Johnny Cage exists is it's a throwback as a joke to when it was a Jean-Claude Van Damme game. And they decided to do sort of a jokey character based off of him.
Universal Soldier is a terrible movie. Just side note, why? And why of all movies were they like, yeah, this is going to be the Jean-Claude Van Damme film that we base this on? What the hell, guys?
Because it's easy enough to score the rights.
I mean, I guess. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
So for some future background, the last Midway release of Mortal Kombat before they went bankrupt was Mortal Kombat versus DC in 2008.
Oh god.
And they got picked up by Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers owns them now.
Right.
And
Since then, they've been producing good stuff, actually.
and they rebooted the entire franchise in 2011.
Yeah, MK9 and 10 have been excellent, actually. They've been really good fighters.
But we're not here to talk about the series of video games. We're here to talk about like I said, the summer blockbuster hit. 3 weeks at number 1.
That's pretty
Is
solid,
that actually true?
Yes.
3 weeks?
A lot of people don't realize how crap movies were back during the 90s.
I actually...
excuse me, that's a top movie of all time? Thank you.
we are going to get back to what other movies came out in that same opening week.
Oh, this should be fun.
And there are 2 in particular that I want to draw your attention to.
Is it going to be, do John and Andrew, do Ben and Andrew even remember these things were films?
You will know one of the films, and the other one, you'll be like, wow, they made a movie of that? Wow.
So, correction, I'm going to know 2 of the films, and Ben is going to know none of them.
Is one of them Home Alone?
No.
Damn, then I have no idea.
Okay, yes.
Okay. All right, so... Mortal Kombat was a movie that was directed by Paul W.S. Anderson. And if you don't know who that
Holy
is...
shit, seriously?
He is the writer or director and also kind of like the vision holder for the Resident Evil franchise of movies.
Oh my god, this explains so much.
Oh, no.
The movie had some notable people in it, but the one that only matters to me is has Christopher Lambert in it. He plays as Raiden, the Thunder God.
Yeah. Doesn't do an accent.
No, and
Doesn't do anything.
He is also notable as being the lead actor for the movie Highlander,
Which is a great movie.
which we are going to
should
do.
watch.
We're going to do it on a Ben Sees at some point.
We gotta get Ben to watch Highlander.
Oh, my God.
It's so great.
Sean Connery is an Egyptian. Is a Egyptian acting as a Spaniard who is played by a Scotsman who does not know what accents are.
I wish my summer schedule was way more booked than it is, so I can have an excuse not to do this.
Suck it.
We got you.
Fuck.
All right, so this
Nailed it.
movie was made on a budget of $18 million, and guess how much it grossed at box office?
I'm gonna say. Oh, you said 3 weeks at number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, 50.
I was gonna double it and say 36.
This movie grossed a box office of $122 million.
Oh, no.
And at this point in time, it actually remains like the 5th most successful video game movie ever made.
Oh my god.
Isn't this during, like, historically speaking, like, during, like, the video game panic of, like, blood and violence and the everything? And,
No,
Yes.
Mortal Kombat 1 caused that, I
Yeah,
thought.
yeah,
well,
but
not
it didn't go away.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it hasn't gone away.
1995 would have been around the time that we formed the ESRB and it was being established in the industry.
That's really funny.
This is when the rules were being laid down that became the groundwork for the way games ratings are done today.
Okay. Fair enough. Wait a minute. Okay, so Mortal Kombat 3 was out during this time period, you said, right?
Yeah, Mortal Kombat 3 came out either like right before or right after.
God, I'm mad they didn't use certain characters.
It was also the last. I think it came out right after, but Mortal Kombat 3 was also the last one that the original developer Ed Boon worked on. Like,
Yeah, that I knew. That I knew.
sure.
Yeah, him and John Tobias, I believe they both ended up becoming disconnected from the franchise. And I can't remember which one. I want to say Ed Boon. Later on, he ended up writing a script to flesh out the story even further after the events of 3, and also as sort of like a sequel movie script, just as a fun practice. And I believe it's floating around online, and I would love to read
That's
that.
amazing.
That sounds awesome.
I think Ed Boon jumped back on for the reboot, though.
I don't know.
I can't confirm that.
I do know that he thought that the reboot was a bad idea.
It's been going well so far.
He was not on the reboot bandwagon. He wanted to go further.
Yeah, that's as someone who actually follows the Mortal Kombat storyline. By the time of Armageddon, shit didn't even make sense.
There's no
anymore.
storyline after 4.
I mean, there is. It's just bad.
Yeah,
Right.
As I stated,
Yeah.
there's no storyline
No,
after
1,
4.
2, 3, 9, and 10 actually have decent
Yes,
plots.
they're okay.
The rest are
They-
light it on fire before it causes the infection to spread.
Yeah.
So
Continue.
the Mortal Kombat movie was mostly filmed in LA and also in Thailand. And surprise, surprise, it received mixed reviews. People were they approved of the quality of the martial arts, production values, atmosphere, but felt that the movie had a poor story and the performances weren't good.
Wait, didn't you just say they praised the?
They praised the martial arts.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Nah.
So like choreography, fighting, stuff like that. They weren't big fans of the line delivery.
I mean, they're not wrong.
At the beginning of this movie, when they're when they're doing like all the introduction scenes for the characters,
Right.
Steven Spielberg was supposed to cameo as Johnny Cage's director, but couldn't due to schedule conflicts. I was gonna look up what he was working on at the time, but I forgot to. So this was like 95. I wouldn't be surprised if he was working on like Schindler's List or something.
He was
like
working
that.
on something far more important than this damn film.
Cameron Diaz was originally supposed to play Sonia, but she broke her wrist right before production began. And so Bridget Wilson, who plays her, was a like very last minute addition.
Wow.
She was like one of the better actors, if I remember correctly, too.
The first pick for... Oh, this is great. Who do you think the first pick was for Johnny Cage?
Jackie Chan. Oh, Johnny Cage?
Johnny
Yeah.
Cage.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were about to say Liu Kang. I'm like, oh, yeah, obviously. Edit that out. Don't edit that out. It's really funny that I completely botched that.
Name something that's not Jackie Chan.
Johnny Cage.
Oh, fuck,
Jean-Claude Van Damme?
Close. He was second pick.
Oh, ooh. Oh, God. White,
Schwarzenegger.
athletic. No, there's no way it was Schwarzenegger. He was too big. You need someone who can actually, like, move. Norris. Please don't tell me it was Chuck Norris.
It was Brandon Lee.
Who the fuck is that? Oh.
Did you just say that?
Oh.
Bruce Lee's son, Brandon Lee.
Right. No, once again, my brain pulled that together in the couple of seconds. Oh, God.
No, the reason
That's sad.
the reason that he didn't play was because he died on the set of The Crow.
Yep.
So this movie's cursed, from what I understand.
Jesus. No, The Crow is cursed.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So they offered the role to Jean-Claude Van Damme, but he passed over it and decided to do Street Fighter instead.
Can we cover Street Fighter? Have you guys done Street Fighter?
We should cover it at some point because this is a terrible damn movie.
It's a terrible movie. We'll cover it anyway.
It's so bad.
We'll do that as a one-off.
Yeah.
I kind of just want to watch Raul Julia just eat the scenery.
Eat the scenery, yeah.
just consume the scenery with a fork and knife.
Oh my god, he is acting up a storm.
It's so good. It makes up for everything else about that movie being terrible.
So one thing that I found really interesting was that Reptile. Towards the end of the movie, there is when they're in the underworld, dark world, the alternate dimension kind of thing.
Yeah.
They run into a fight with Reptile. That was actually a late addition because they focus grouped the film and they thought that the fights were kind of lackluster and didn't kind of live up to the video game.
Sure.
So they decided to like really just like push it hard.
I mean, yeah, I guess the reptile fight is like the only one that is... Because I'm thinking before that, the rest of them are arena fights or just like very... The reptile one spans a couple of city... Like part of the city of Outworld, so it like does something.
It was also apparently a pain in the ass to film because they didn't have the design for Reptile finalized while they were shooting the footage for it.
Oh, no.
So they had to just kind of like guess what he looked like, how tall he was.
I mean, the CGI also looks like crap, if I remember.
Well, yeah, it definitely.
I mean, like, it's the
like
90s.
mid-90s CG, like, it's always going to look bad.
Yeah, we're talking about the peak graphical capabilities of 1995.
So Beast Wars. Yeah.
Beast Wars.
Beast Wars.
This is when Toy Story came out around then.
Toy Story...
Toy Story looks good, but go back and watch it and you'll realize how far we've come.
But also, like, that's what happens when you have an entire dedicated wing.
Also,
one of the most prolific studios of all time being like, build an entire CG movie. Like, yeah.
Also, like, the idea of blending 3D into regular film just didn't work very well back then.
Yep.
Let's see, what else I got here. The movie was shot in 4 months. Like, the principal photography was 4 months long.
That seems excessively short.
That is.
Yeah, that's unheard of short. What happened?
Nothing. They
That's
just had a...
What?
It was a small budget film.
Okay.
They kept it tight. They filmed everything in LA at studios and in Thailand.
So they were just brutally efficient?
Yeah.
That's scary. Well done.
They were just like, we got this movie. We got to make the big bucks. Mortal Kombat's hot right now. We need a movie.
We need a movie. I imagine there's a guy chomping on a cigar in a studio yelling that. We need a movie!
And they actually delayed the movie. It was originally supposed to be released in May of 95, and they decided to push it back to August because they thought that the movie had the potential to be a summer blockbuster, which they were right.
Yeah, it did.
Good call. Everything about this seems like a resounding success so far.
The movie itself is...
Okay, well, yeah, but...
So, something I didn't know, in April 1995, they released an animated tie-in for the movie. Like, that was supposed to set up the stage for the film.
Oh, God, I remember this.
I have never seen this. And apparently it's on the Blu-ray of the movie, and I definitely want to watch this.
If I remember correctly, if it's the animated feature I'm thinking of, it looks like shit.
I bet it does.
It's animation combined with CG. If you gave them if you took only one of the designers from Reboot, hit him in the head with a sledgehammer, that's your CG. And then the animation itself is constantly repeated over and over again.
Yeah, budget, man.
Budget,
it's bad.
I expect it to be the worst kind of budget Harvey Toon-esque crap I've ever seen.
Oh, I can't wait to see this.
But apparently the plot of it takes place on the boat ride to the actual Mortal Kombat, introduce the characters, and it's Raiden giving a lot of exposition on like Liu Kang and what's the big villain's name?
Oh, Shang Tsung.
Yeah, Shang Tsung, and giving them advice on how they're going to survive this combat tournament. So yeah, I definitely want to watch
They
that.
couldn't just get a seriously drunk Christopher Lambert to just do it, because he can't tell me he was sober on that set. I won't believe you.
I don't know. So opened at number 1. It's opening weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 other movies that opened up that same week, that same weekend.
There we go.
August of 93? 95?
95.
Yes. So coming in on its debut weekend at number 9, we have The Babysitter's Club.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
I told you. Like, they made a movie of that?
Yeah. Fuck. Really?
The classic girl version of the Boxcar Children.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I'm on they made a movie out of that train right now. Like, what would that even be? I guess just shove a pile of money in front of a screenwriter and hope they come up with something.
So number 2, actually, I thought was interesting. The number 2 spot for this, it wasn't its debut weekend, but the number 2 movie was Dangerous Minds. And Dangerous Minds kind of stuck at number 2 for like a month.
The hell is Dangerous
I've
Minds?
heard of this, but
I
damn
can't remember.
recall it.
That's the thing I think. It's a name I know, and I can't remember what it's about.
Yeah,
but it like hung up. But more to my point, the number 17 spot on its opening weekend, The Usual Suspects.
17?
Exactly. The Usual Suspects is a film classic. Like, now,
God.
that being said, these days, some of the actors in there are kind of problematic now.
Kevin Spacey.
Yeah. The movie stars Kevin Spacey, and yeah, but it is a fantastic movie.
Oh, man. Why would you release that movie during August? That blows my mind to be like, you're going to put that up there with blockbusters? Shove it in like November, you guys, when people just want to go see a weird, depressing movie.
Ben, if you've never seen The Usual Suspects,
Why are you asking Ben? Of course he hasn't.
But put it on record.
I would highly recommend it.
Got it.
So after its 3 week stint, it dropped down to number 3 once again. Dangerous Minds still at number 2. It dropped down from 1 to 3.
What is Dangerous Minds? Now I need to look this up. I'm like, now I need to know.
Guess what took the number 1 spot after 3 weeks?
Oh man!
After 3 weeks.
So what?
Yeah.
September or something?
Yeah, that would have been
95?
like the first week of September.
Oh God, I don't know.
Tu Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar.
What the?
That movie is a fucking.
What the fuck did you
Were
just
those
say?
words?
Yeah.
Did you have a stroke? What was that?
I love that movie.
Tu Wong Fu?
Got like John Leguizamo in it, and it's him and two other prominent actors. I can't remember their names right now, but they go on a road trip as drag queens, because they're trying to deliver. Like they're trying to drive to a pageant across the country, and their car breaks down the middle of nowhere, and it's one of those like kind of like a son-in-law kind of thing where it's like you're in farm country and you're broken down there. And,
Sure.
Yeah, but
I have a feeling because of the 90s and drag queens, there's going to be a lot of jokes that would be like, that's really uncomfortable.
Good point. Okay, so I'll preface this. I thought that movie was awesome when I was a teenager. Nowadays, there's probably a lot of problems with it.
Kind of like me watching.
Can you repeat the movie? Like I can't.
It's called Tu Wong Fu.
Tu Wong Fu.
Okay.
Thanks for Everything.
Thanks for Everything.
Julie Newmar.
Starring Johnny Lasagna.
Johnny
Lasagna.
Yeah,
That's actually a really good summary.
Johnny Lasagna.
That's actually a really good summary of John Leguizamo right there.
No, so the name from it comes from the driving point of the plot, where they're at one of those restaurants that has a bunch of like photos of famous people.
Oh, sure.
Julie Newmar was famous for playing the Catwoman.
Oh wait, is that the what from the 1960s Batman? Oh, okay.
And
cool.
she was one of the people who played Catwoman.
Nice.
And they find this photograph that's signed to Wong Fu, thanks for everything. And like, we're going to take this message of hope and we're going to deliver it, because Julie Newmar is one of the people who's the big judges at the pageant that they're going to, and they thought it was like a sign.
Oh, this makes more sense now.
So anyway,
got it.
We're not here for my deep dive on To Wong Fu, thanks for everything, Julie Newmar, starring Johnny Lasagna.
Too many syllables.
I'm so... Wow, all right. I feel like we entered a different dimension for a little while there. This show just became something completely different.
Now
So
tie that back.
Yes,
back to Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Get over here. There's
Writes itself.
everything
really.
everything about this movie makes it sound like, oh, this movie sounds pretty awesome. I hate this movie.
I love how that's like the opening of this after you spent this entire time being like, oh, did this well, it's doing the, had these actors, they managed to pull it together in 4 months. I despise this film.
So I haven't seen this film in a hella long time.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure I love it.
I remember really enjoying this movie.
Right.
I remember enjoying the kung fu fights. That's about it. I don't remember enjoying anything else. I mean, Christopher Lambert is really drunk for the majority of this film.
Yes,
Sure.
yes. And that's okay. So you've got an actor that I also loved as a child phoning in a performance.
He's not phoning it. He's just brutally sarcastic about everything that he just so clearly doesn't give a shit that it's kind of great.
It was one of the first times in my life I was watching a movie and be like, oh, this is just to sell a product to me. That was the first time I had that realization while I was watching a movie.
It broke the veil.
Yeah.
It broke that this is built for my entertainment. Mine was I think I'm going to go with the Pokemon 2000 movie when I was finally like, fuck!
No, I love
I
the
should
shit
stop
out of that.
spending money.
Mine, and I realized this after the fact, of course, but my parents took me to see Rugrats the Musical.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
I had the soundtrack in my apartment for that. Like, it is a good... bad soundtrack. I love it.
I think, you know what? I think Star Wars Episode 2 might have been the one that broke me too. Because that movie is fucking terrible.
See, for me, it was Star Wars Episode 1 where I realized Star Wars was all about selling crap to you. Because, I grew up, in that nice middle point where it's like Star Wars was just this thing that came out back in the 70s and 80s. And I got to enjoy it. And so I didn't have to deal with all the merchandising and stuff when it was new.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then Episode 1 comes out and suddenly it's like, oh, we've got Taco Bell cup toppers shaped like Jar Jar Binks. Who's Jar Jar Binks? You'll find out.
It's a literal piles of stuff that's being sold to you, and you're like, I don't want any.
I will say that if you're gonna play the product placement drinking game, Emoji Movie is the way to go.
Oh no! God damn. I've heard any Michael Bay movie starts physically hurting after a while. There's a scene in I think Transformers 5 where after wrecking a city.
Wait, pause. We're on 5.
Yeah, I don't know how either.
The next one's gonna reboot the franchise, by the way.
Oh my
fuck,
god!
really?
Yep.
Okay, no, we're getting into that at a later time.
Yep.
We'll be here all day. Michael Bay's in Transformers 5. There's a scene where the city they're in gets wrecked, and Mark Wahlberg rolls down off whatever destroyed thing that he just inadvertently destroyed,
right.
And starts yelling at this guy's yelling at him about his car just got wrecked, and they're right next to a very open Bud Light truck that had just been destroyed. It's really, your car got wrecked? And reaches in, snaps the thing open while keeping eye contact with this guy while beer's just pouring out, chugs the whole thing and throws it in his car and walks off. Oh. And it's wow, that was a scene. That was that. How much money did that get back budget wise?
The only thing that was missing was a moment where the actor looks at the camera just barrels the camera and says,
"Oh god,
drink responsibly."
The Truman Show. Yeah. Hey, this one thing that we use all the time.
The very taking the piss.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. I want to be a director where I release a movie and it gets okay reviews, and then I reboot it the exact same movie next year with all the modifications that I was told to make, and to
Oh my
see
God.
how it like.
Oh my God.
We need to beat the Wayans brothers to this. Reboot the movie.
That'd be so
The
good.
reboot movie.
I would love that. That'd be just like get enough money where you could turn it into like your own weird personal pet project.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I edited the things. Did you like it this time, audiences? No, let's try again.
Isn't that called the Star Wars franchise?
I mean, why are you being too real? I need you to stop being real on this show where we make fun of Mortal Kombat.
That's actually Mortal Kombat 2 in defense.
Yo, God, let's not talk about the second one either, because the sequel to this movie is fucking terrible.
So
objectively unfunny terrible.
So I want to know, what is it that you guys like about Mortal Kombat, the movie?
I don't know. Ben?
Yeah, so I guess for me, and again, it's been a
For
minute.
those at home, Ben is actually coincidentally wearing a giant Mortal Kombat logo on his shirt.
A fucking soccer jersey.
That he got from GDC.
Yeah, he got a Brazil soccer jersey with the Mortal Kombat logo.
It's actually, I want one.
I'm going to take a picture of him wearing it, and I'm going to put it on the Twitter feed.
The comfiest
pretty
motherfucker ever.
That's going to be the announcement image for when this goes live.
Meanwhile, John and I are in a Star Wars shirt and
I'm wearing a shirt that has an illustration that I made of my brother's face.
respectively. So,
my last name is Combat on the back.
hey, there you go.
No,
Go banana!
That might have been the most Ralph Wiggum statement I think I've ever heard in my life. My last name says Combat.
oh god.
I think this one's a misprint. They spelled combat with a K.
I really hope someone pulled that on them at GDC. Like, someone who legitimately is a fan is like, oh, guys, I think you spelled this wrong.
I did like
No, seriously, I think you did. Oh, fuck, really? Does he not know the franchise?
oh no.
Oh, no.
So, in defense of Mortal Kombat 1, and I'm willing to revise my opinion on it, I just remembered it like when I was younger, and just it's one of those movies where you just have stupid fun with it, right? Like, it's like, I've talked about this in many previous episodes. I've talked about this explicitly in the Star Wars ones quite a bit, where is it believable in the universe that you set? In this context, aside from Johnny Cage, who's just a taking the piss character anyway, yeah, I'm fine with it. It works. It's dumb and it's kind of stupid, but I'm also a big fan of martial arts movies to begin with, so it's not out of the realm of like likability for me.
Yeah. To me, there is certainly, I guess it comes down to, it's the same appeal that you get to like a wrestling thing where I'm like, with the Mortal Kombat universe, where it just doesn't give a fuck. Like, it makes sense in its own sense within the universe they built, but outside of that, like, it's not supposed to be anything but patently ridiculous the entire time.
Here's my argument. They could have had a really cool movie. They could have done like all the really good things that you like about Mortal Kombat as a game, and then just tweaked it a little bit more towards Bloodsport.
Yeah.
And it would have been amazing.
So I will say the acting is absolute bottom of the barrel, just bad.
Oh no, it's not.
The
Yeah,
acting
it's not
in this
good.
movie outside of Shang Tsung and Raiden is just atrocious, and that's because Raiden doesn't care, and Shang Tsung's actually chewing the scenery again. Like, it's great. It's the Raul Julia effect of like, this is an older actor who clearly understands this is for a paycheck. I'm gonna make my money and eat the scenery at the same time, and everyone's gonna like it.
Not to mention, villains are fun to play.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And if you're going to be in a cheesy movie, play the villain.
Your line introduction to everybody is you shouting in a dream, "Your brother's soul is mine."
Is like mine.
Like, just roll with it, man. Like, you're not gonna make that line sound serious.
Like, this goes. They do this really well in the game series as well with not Shang Tsung, Shao Kahn. Yeah. Where in 9, when you climb the tower, like one of his taunts is just pointing at you and just say, "You suck." And it's like, who doesn't want that voice acting line? Like, it's a great
It's
gig.
pretty great.
You got to imagine for some of the actors too. It's like, okay, I can either do Mortal Kombat, which is going to be dumb, but it might be a lot of fun, or I can do Three Ninjas Kick Back.
Oh god, that was a franchise. Oh no! You know what we need to do it sometime for
I love
this podcast.
Three Ninjas.
We need to sit down and watch like terrible '90s movies that became franchises and find the part where it just breaks all of us. Just sit down and attempt to watch like the Three Ninjas movies, and then we hit that one with Hulk Hogan. We're all just like, no, tapping out, calling it. I'm not going any further. And then
on. Are you talking about God? What was the name of that movie? I had it stuck in my head the other day.
It was used on they made a joke about it on Best of the Worst. That's the only reason I know this movie exists.
I don't know.
It was
Suburban Commando.
Oh,
Is that what you're thinking
no!
of?
There was a Three Ninjas movie with Hulk Hogan in it called Three Ninjas at Mega Mountain, and no, I'm not kidding.
Oh no!
It has Hulk Hogan as the main villain who runs, I think, some kind of like Disneyland water park thing. I don't know. It's dumb.
I don't know why. When I heard Mega Mountain, it's like 3 ninjas run up the aggro crag, and it's like.
I just love the idea of Hulk Hogan getting his ass kicked by 3 small children.
But speaking of bad '90s movies, we need to watch Suburban Commando.
We should. That'd be hilarious. I just want to watch bad movies with wrestlers in them. So basically every movie The Miz has made.
Oh. Can we do a Marine hexology?
What is a hexology?
They have like 6 of them.
Why?
I don't know.
Jesus. But we could jump right into movies that have pro wrestlers in them because that Cock Block movie's about to come out.
Oh yeah, that actually looks pretty funny.
That stars John Cena. It's rated R.
Just because Cena's such a charming dude, I want to see him in more films.
I want Cena to play the Mortal Kombat reboot with Johnny Cage.
Actually, no, he's too big. I'd watch like a Finn Balor.
Yeah, I can see that. Well.
You gotta get someone who can move.
It was WrestleMania 3 years ago where fucking Triple H came out as Shao Kahn with a fucking skull mask and shit.
Oh yeah, he did, didn't he?
I told you,
that's a gag they've been doing for years.
Every
Triple H wears skulls.
Every fucking podcast episode will tie back into wrestling until I die.
And just never bring Ben back. No, but I would say the things I enjoyed about the Mortal Kombat movie, kind of like with Ben, it's a dumb, fun movie that knows exactly what it is. The acting is objectively bad. Like, the fighting's actually really good. The kung fu and, like, the actual fighting aspects of it are pretty decent, if I remember correctly. I could very well be wrong. The stunts, I remember being pretty good.
I remember
I don't know.
The one thing that I really liked about the movie was the Scorpion's hook strengthening, the camera perspective of that, like weaving through woods. Like, I recall loving that.
That was awesome.
I remember the ninjas being represented really well in this movie. I remember Sub-Zero and Scorpion actually being pretty fucking awesome.
No, they were great in this movie.
Kano was a psychopath as much as he should. Like, every single villain was good in this film. It was, I think, the heroes that were the worst part of this movie.
They're the worst part of every movie, though.
Kano, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Shang Tsung, Goro. The animatronic on Goro did not age well.
No.
Yeah.
But everything else I remember being really awesome. Like, Kano just being a heartless, raging psychopath with, like, half his face being Terminator face was great. The fight with Scorpion and Johnny Cage is still fucking awesome.
There was apparently supposed to be a fight between Sonya and Jade that got cut from the film.
Oh,
Sonya
Jade.
and Jade?
Yeah.
Did Jade even show up in this film?
She was originally going to be... Apparently she's in the novelization that came out before the movie.
Right, remember when they did that? Remember when they did that during the 90s? They would novelize every single fucking film that came out?
Nowadays they just buy franchises that are already novels and make movies off them.
Oh yeah, they go the reverse.
They went the other way.
You skip a step.
God, art. You ever think art is like this weird giant Ouroboros snake just constantly eating its own tail?
No, there's the great example that one of my old art professors gave, that he believes it's like a 3-dimensional pendulum where everything swings back. Things swing back and forth, but they always swing back in a slightly different direction than they went the last time.
Oh, so it's just it's swinging in the direction, but it's always constantly moving outside of the original way it was. Oh, okay, that's interesting.
That's a metaphor for sure.
That's fascinating. Well, damn. But now we got that to ponder. No, but I remember Mortal Kombat being... I remember the sequel is where I think that broke childhood me. I'm like, even I know at the age of 8 this is bad.
We will save that for a bad movie marathon kind of thing.
I really want to watch that movie with you guys now, though, just to see. I kind of want to witness when one of you is finally like, no, I'm done. I'm not watching this moron.
No, it's what they do in fucking every reality show ever now with like America's Got Talent and shit, where you hit the buzzer. It's like, nope, I quit. And like when all 3 of us hit it, it's like, cool, we can stop.
We can stop the movie. Can we turn that into a show? Just we put buzzers in front of us and watch the worst things we've ever seen.
And we just show the clip of the movie. That was the point where we hit the buzzer.
Yeah. I just windmill slam it on Birdemic and just tap out and walk out the room. Just leave you guys.
We would never watch Birdemic.
I'm out. I'm not.
Oh, that'd be the cruelest part too. Is like you like. Only one person is allowed to tap out for the movie.
Oh no!
Anyway, we're way off topic.
No, but I mean, I'm actually interested to see this many years. I think it's also because now that I've actually started watching decent fight, like I've seen decent fight scenes since then. Like whether it's going back to watch the Bruce Lee films or just watching like New Japan or things that are like actual. Oh my god, these are good stunts. Like this looks cool. Like the stunt action's good. Like this looks like a real fight. I'm wondering, looking back, what 95's Mortal Kombat is going to look like now that I know what good fight choreography is. Yeah. To be like, oh, is this going to be decent, or is like the entire illusion just going to be shattered now that I've seen Bruce Lee step on a dude's face in slow motion? Like, is that going to be like, oh yeah, now maybe this is bad.
I mean, we'll completely ignore like the bicycle kick kind of thing, like. Because that's going to be
it's hokey, but like whatever.
Let's look at this lens from the lens of how actually is the choreography.
Side note: did you know that the entire movie was based around Enter the Dragon? They purposely, at that point, Mortal Kombat had not had like a defined plot.
I'm pretty sure
they did. I mentioned that.
No. I mean, they had based the original Mortal Kombat's idea and like the very idea of that tournament around Enter the Dragon.
Yeah,
it's awesome. I love it.
I appreciate that John's like frantically checking his notes. Like,
did you actually write that down?
Yeah,
I don't think you said that.
Yes,
though.
I did.
Did he?
Oh well.
Play back. It wasn't a
play the clip back. Editor John, play the clip back.
All right. It's like a blend of Bloodsport, Enter the Dragon, Big Trouble in Little China, Enter the Dragon. And there I go.
I'm going to say I was right and just call it good.
All right. Let's call it there.
Yeah.
Let's call it there.
Once we start repeating ourselves, I think that's where we hit it.
Too late.
All right. And if all goes well, we'll see you guys in a week and we'll have watched this movie and have follow-up opinions on it.
Hey, look at that. We're back on schedule.
Oh my god, we have a schedule.
Oh god. Oh shit.
No, what have we done?
Goodbye, everybody.
John.
Later.
Mortal